Hello, buddy. Welcome back to my channel. I've got my brand new friend Norman here, and actually your sister reached out to me and said Norman doesn't know how to get a hold of you. He's in Dumaguete and wants to meet you, and so she gave me your WhatsApp number, I think it was, and we have finally connected.
Yeah.
And we came here about a week and a half ago at this resort where you stayed at for a whole month.
Right.
And so now you're here. And so how's it going?
It's going real good. I watched years and years of, including your show, vloggers, a lot of them sugarcoat it, and I knew that. So I came here, not raised expectations, but reality. Because if you come over here with too high expectations, and then when it's not that, you crash hard.
This is true. I see it all the time.
Yeah, a wise friend of mine, hi Jerry, we always talked about this, never assume.
Yeah.
Because if you do, and no.
That's true in everything in life, assuming.
In everything, yeah. And then it could go south, right? But I've been here 2 months now, a month here at Capisa Resort, which was fantastic. I was the only one here staying in this entire resort for a month.
Wow.
Yeah, 4 girls working here, cleaning your room, cleaning the property, delivering food to your room. And now I lucked out. I found maybe half a mile from here, I found a beautiful little apartment, 2-bedroom, 1 bath, a gated compound. I can walk to the beach in about 8 minutes.
What are you paying for that, if you don't mind saying?
20,000 Philippine.
So a little less than 400 a month.
Yeah, I think about 360. But I just got my first bill yesterday, and the landlady takes care of all the it's not included.
Yeah.
But I don't have to go to the agency and
yeah, they have with my house too. They do it for me. You pay her.
They have a meter and X amount of kilowatt hours. And so with the internet, the electric, the water, we also have a giant generator that kicks on automatically because of all the brownouts we have here. So all in, right about $400 US.
And what would you get? You're from Florida, right?
Yes.
Where in Florida?
I bounced around my whole life. Originally Miami, and basically grew up there, which I have no regrets. It's a different world there now.
Oh yeah, I was there recently.
Yeah.
So, what do you get in Miami for $400 a month?
A storage locker.
Storage locker.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky, you're lucky.
Without air conditioning.
Maybe a parking spot, parking your car someplace.
Yeah.
We got the rain coming down, guys. So that's what it is. It's the rain. And I'm going to show everybody where we are here. You can see we're right on the beach here. But I can't film facing the ocean because the sun washes everything out. So we had to face this way. And so, you retired?
I am. I am. Yeah, I did a lot of cool stuff in my life, and
Like what?
well, right out of high school, I got a job at the Miami Seaquarium
Well, I've been there. Took my daughter there, yeah.
to work with the sea lions.
Oh wow, how nice is that?
Yeah, and the first year or so, it was basically just taking care of them and feeding. And then I got into the training aspect, and then eventually did the sea lion shows.
Are they as smart as a dog, or smarter than a dog, or as far as intelligence level, where would you put them?
I would say they're almost even. They're basically dogs with flippers. And they've got the canine teeth, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, I had a blast working there. And then I had an opportunity to go to work for a dog training company.
Well, before we get off the sea lions,
Yeah.
do you know much about them as far as animals and stuff? Like,
Well, yeah, I spent every day around them.
because How deep can they dive, like in the ocean?
Oh, well, I would say a couple of 100 feet,
Wow.
every bit of it.
I saw an experiment that was done with sea lions one time, and it was like a big, huge pool, and they blindfolded the sea lion, and they took I think it was a fish on a stick, like a dead fish on a stick, but they went like zigzag through the pool to the other end. Then they let the sea lion go, and it followed the track through the water that that fish had gone, even though it was blindfolded. So they said, how can you can't smell underwater because it's like
No.
a dog. So the whiskers, I guess, some kind of sensing, but they were able to, it was able to tell where this fish had been, even at the other end of the pool. It's really interesting.
Now, I'm not 100% certain about this, but just from being around them, I believe they have a sense of sonar, like a dolphin does.
Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of times, if you were to reach for one, pet them on the head, or good boy or good girl, they pull back. They could actually see your muscles or something contract.
Wow.
I used to get a kick out of, they would rent the seaquarium out at night to like rich Arabs or something and their family, and they would do all the shows. And then we had different jobs, like in the evening where the dolphin lagoon was. And this is at night, and the lagoon was probably 15 feet deep, pitch black, and all I want to do is play with you. I would take a quarter and whip it out there and keep them there. It was called target,
Yeah.
almost like stay to
Yeah.
a dog, and then send them out, and in 1 minute flat, they would find that quarter in complete darkness and flip it up on the dock at you.
Wow.
Like a dog, like throw it
Yeah.
again, throw it again.
But a quarter?
A
Jeez.
quarter.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
Now, where do these seals come from? Where do these sea lions come from? Like, where do they get them? Are they
They're-
rescues?
No, they, maybe nowadays they are. Seaquarium's in big trouble right now.
Yeah, animal rights and all that, huh?
Yeah, they just lost the star of the show, the killer whale,
Yeah.
Lolita. She's been there 50 years in
Wow.
captivity, and she just died. They were mostly imported. They're California sea lions.
Yeah, which they're kind of a menace. You go to the docks in California, those things are all over the place. They
In-
jump on your boats. And
And they like to poop in your boat.
yeah, they
too.
do, yeah.
And
And they're big, too. What does one of those things weigh?
oh, some of the males can get 300 plus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did they ever bite you or anything?
I have been bitten. The worst bite I ever got was with a baby sea lion that was maybe 4 weeks old. I was helping the veterinarian. It wouldn't eat, so they put fish and oil in a blender and tube feed it, right? So I was holding this little pup, and it reached around and latched onto my hand. It totally laid my hand open.
Wow.
And that's a little baby about this big. Mating season, they can get aggressive, the males. But it was a blast. The people that I worked with there, people I got to meet, a lot of celebrities.
Like who?
Brian Dennehy,
Oh, yeah, he's a great actor.
great actor. I met Don Johnson.
Yeah, Miami Vice.
Miami Vice, when I was there, they were still filming around Miami. The show was still
Was
active.
that like the 80s?
Yeah, late 80s. I think it ended in about 87. And let's see, Jamie Farr, Klinger from
Oh,
MASH.
yeah.
Jason Bateman, and I had the pleasure of meeting Jimmy Buffett.
Oh, wow.
And his wife and his little daughter at the time was that big, Savannah Jimmy.
I heard that he was a billionaire from that song Margaritaville.
Well, he had
He died recently, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
Just literally a couple of years ago.
Last September.
Was it last September? Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I lived my life through that guy.
Yeah. And you never hear a bad word about him. He's supposed to be a really nice man.
He was super nice when I met him. But yeah, he had an empire. He had
Restaurants
entire
and yeah.
restaurants, Margaritaville restaurant. He was, I believe, part owner of Krispy Kreme.
Oh yeah,
Which
I
is
love Krispy
huge.
Kreme. Yeah,
Yeah, who
wish they had
doesn't?
one here.
Yeah, Buffett was a legend. And
Well, why'd you leave that job? It sounds like something you could just like. I mean, if you're so happy at it, I'd stay there forever. I mean, you just like.
the pay, your reward basically was to work with these animals, right?
A good job for a young person. You know, it's just.
Yeah. And when I signed on with the dog training company, my salary more than doubled. And I stayed with them a little over a year. It was in-home dog training. You would drive all over Miami and go to private homes and train not just the dog, but the owner, which is...
How do you stop like one of those the little dogs that just yap 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 and bark at everybody that comes into the house or in the apartment and they just don't stop barking?
We used to use a simple little tactic. It was called a penny can. Basically a Coca-Cola can, empty,
Yeah.
and you put about 10 pennies in there and put tape over the drinking hole.
Yeah.
And as soon as they do that, you shake that and say, no. And boom, they're quiet.
Huh.
Remember, a dog's hearing is
Yeah, much stronger.
100
Yeah.
times,
Yeah.
right?
So it's painful.
I mean, if I shook a penny can in your face, it would be annoying. But to a dog, it's more than annoying. And, you know, they associate behaviors with bad behaviors, with basically trial and error. Whenever I do this, barking, it's an unpleasant experience. So they kind of drop that. So I learned all these tricks. And then I figured I was getting a little burned out on Miami, a lot. And I figured I can do this myself. But I had signed a waiver to non-compete.
Isn't Florida a right-to-work state? I'm pretty sure it is because I had the same problem working on cruise ships, and I left one company to work for another one, and I was their top salesperson. So they were going to sue me, and because it was in Florida, went to arbitration. They said it's a right-to-work state; he can do whatever he wants.
Well, at the time, I had signed that waiver to non-compete.
Yeah, non-compete.
It was for either a period of about a year, or you have to be at least 100 miles away. And I figured, bingo, I've always wanted to live in the Keys, which is gorgeous. And I ended up starting my own in-home dog training company there.
What did you charge for that?
It was usually, you would sell kind of like a contract, like an 8-week program.
8 weeks. Wow, it's a long time.
Well, that's one visit per week for 8 weeks. And it came out roughly to about $60 per visit. That was good money back then.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the 90s or still in the 80s?
Still in the 80s.
That's real good money back then.
Real good money. And my home base was in Marathon, which is, the Keys are 100 miles long. Key
Yeah, I've been
Largo
there,
to Key West. Yeah. So I was in Marathon, which is mile marker 50, right in the middle. So worst case scenario, I'd have to go 50 miles to Key West or 50 miles to Key Largo. And I had advertised, I hit all the veterinarians, I had nice brochures, hit all the veterinarians, groomers, pet shops, built a rapport with these people, and boom, people would call.
Well, they're good business. Yeah. How long did you do that for?
Until I left the Keys in 1992.
Where'd you go then?
I left with my tail between my legs. I was in my first real live-in relationship. I was still in my 20s.
Yeah.
And that ended, and it hit me pretty hard. And plus that weekend, August 24th, 1992, is when Hurricane Andrew
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
hit Florida and South Florida especially. And I said, well, I'm done here anyway. So I moved in with my parents for about 6 months. And
And they were in Florida too, or where were they?
in North Miami Beach.
Okay.
Yep. And I hustled my ass off. I was flipping cars, doing this, doing that, whatever it took, and managed to save up a good chunk of money. And then I got a tip on a condo for sale in North Miami Beach. Yeah, it was on the water,
Wow.
not on the ocean.
Intercoastal.
In the intercoastal, correct. And it was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. And I had known some foreigners that they offered to finance it for me.
Wow.
Yeah, because I had no credit, no nothing. I couldn't get a loan from the bank. And it was $5,000 down. It was 11% interest, which sounds insane.
Yeah. Especially back then.
Yeah, but the purchase price was only $39,900.
Man.
Yeah, if you can imagine that.
What would you, if you got the exact same place you were going to buy it, what would you think you would pay for it? Just guessing. The exact same apartment.
Oh,
or
well,
condo.
I can tell you what I sold it for 10 years later. I sold it for, let's say, 6 times.
Wow.
6 times.
Wow.
And
Good
I
for you.
was 38 and had this big chunk of money and was burned out on Miami again. Because
Yeah, it's a crazy lifestyle down there. I spent a lot of time in Miami myself. I was just there. That was the last place I actually spent in Florida on Collins Avenue. I rented a place down there for
Yeah.
6 weeks. But yeah, it's a great place to be if you're really rich.
it is now.
Now.
Forget about it. The whole Sunny Isles Beach, which was close to my condo, it was all 2-story breezeway hotels, all up and down this 2-mile strip. Every one of them had a tiki bar out back. You could basically walk down the beach and kind of bar
I remember
hop.
those days. Daytona Beach was the same way. I remember.
Yeah.
Wow.
But now you won't even, you can't even see the beach.
Yeah, all these high rises.
50, 60 stories. I kid you not. There's one called the Porsche building that I think it's 45, 50 stories. But every flight in the condominium is a private residence.
Wow.
Yeah, and you drive your car into the garage, and there's this circle thing, and you push the button. It's an elevator for you and your car, and it parks on your floor.
On your floor?
Yeah,
No shit.
because you own the whole floor.
Wow.
It's not like there's.
I never heard of
unit
that.
A. Yes, look it up. It's called the Porsche building.
Wow, I'm sure I saw it when I was down there.
Amazing.
Wow. And what do those places go for, you think? Millions?
Millions.
You know what I noticed? Like, 'cause I started going to Florida when I was like 10 years old. And I just remember the beach being longer or wider. And when I was in Miami, last time I was in Miami and stayed there for 6 weeks, it seemed like the beach was, I don't know, 10 meters or something like that. It just seemed like it was very narrow, the sand and everything.
They have to do beach restoration every 3 to 5 years. Where,
Dredging,
yeah, they got a huge barge
I've seen those, yeah.
where maybe a half a mile, 3/4 of a mile offshore. And then they have these giant, I don't know, they're this big around pipes. And they suck up the sand bottom offshore, and they fill the beaches back in because of erosion. And,
Yeah, and they got to keep that sargasso weed too. Like every morning, that stuff washes up on the
Oh,
beach,
yeah.
and if you don't do that, you've got big piles of it everywhere. It starts stinking, and
yeah.
that's why I think the beaches here in the Philippines are actually nicer than not all the beaches in Florida, but a lot of the beaches in Florida. I think the beaches on the east or the west coast are nicer, you know, the more pristine.
Yeah, in Southwest Florida,
Yeah.
yeah, there are very nice beaches down there. And of course, you got places like Sanibel, which is absolutely
Yeah, I've been there.
beautiful. Mm-hmm. And
Well, so why did you, it sounds like you had a good life there. You did well investing in real estate and stuff. So when did you start thinking, I don't want to live in America anymore. I want to come to the Philippines or go someplace else? I mean, how did that even start?
well, from when I sold my condo in North Miami Beach, I still had another chapter of my life. I moved to the west coast of Florida, had a big chunk of money, and I moved to this little fishing village called Chasowitska. It's about an hour north of Tampa, and I bought a gorgeous stilt home on over an acre. And the Chasowitska River was a quarter mile from my house. So I started a little kayak business out of my house where somebody had made me a website, and they would call and I would deliver the kayaks down to the river, and when they got back they'd call me, I'd pick them up and take them home. Also did guided tours.
Those rivers are like crystal clear down there too, aren't they?
I like gin.
Yeah.
There was like 17 springs that fed this river.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I did that for maybe a year and a half, and then the campground manager where the boat ramp and the boathouse was, he goes, Norm, there's an opportunity coming up for you. You can bid on getting the boathouse right here on the river. I said, really? And that process took about 5 months, bureaucracy and all. And opened that up, and that was so much fun. I ran into a guy, Mark. He was semi-homeless at the time, and he worked for me 7 days a week. Yeah, he lived in the campground in a tent and content with his life. And this went on for, I had the business for about 6 years. And then they outsourced the campground.
Oh.
Yeah. But I still had a year left on my contract. But these people were tied in with the county, and it's like the good old boy system over there. And they figured out a way to screw me out of it, which devastated me. Yeah. And then I piddled around there for a couple more years, again flipping mostly trucks, buying and selling, and then.
Sound like you're a real entrepreneur. You're not like a guy that 9-to-5 job type guy.
I'm not a 9-to-5 type guy.
I'm not going to work in some cubicle anywhere.
Oh no. No, never.
Free spirit.
Yeah. And then I was getting burned out, because I had a bad taste in my mouth with losing my business. And then I always had the dream to live on a tropical island. And we did live in Guam for a little while when I was a little kid. And my mom used to take hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pictures, and then kind of like a family tradition thing, every couple of years we'd gather at the house and she would put on a slideshow.
Oh, yeah.
And all the Japanese bunkers and the cliffs, Two Lovers Leap. And that stuck, that planted the seed. And then right before I left Chasowitska, I had this thing, I want to move to Guam. And this went on for about a year until I figured out I can't afford to live there.
Is that expensive? I've never been there. Is that expensive?
Whoa. I think right now an efficiency apartment will run you about $1,200.
Wow.
You got $12 a gallon milk. It's electricity is through the ceiling. And then for some reason I found a video about the Philippines. And I was totally amazed. I'm going, this looks just like Guam, but even better with the waterfalls, the beaches. And then I realized from a lot of videos, the cost of living, I'm like, this can't be right. So then I was hell-bent on the Philippines and watched videos every single day religiously, including you, Mark. And in the meantime, I had bought a house in Sebastian, Florida, on the East Coast.
Yeah, I've been there. It's a really nice place near Vero Beach, right?
Right on the border. I
Yeah.
was stone's throw from Vero.
That's the Gold Coast, isn't it, where they found the treasure and stuff along there? Yeah.
The Treasure Coast.
The Treasure Coast, yeah.
Yeah, the 1715 fleet.
Right.
Wow. So I had bought this house, unbelievable price, and I put a good amount of money, put a hurricane, not proof, but resistant roof, metal roof, redid all the floors and the subfloors, and I don't know, I was still watching the Philippines videos, and then COVID came. But what that did, all the people from New York, New Jersey, Michigan, they were trying to get out of these cities and heading to places like Florida, a little bit more.
Yeah, because your governor, DeSantis, had kind of kept the state open. They weren't, a lot of restrictions that you found in
Right.
the other states like California.
Exactly.
And so people like that.
Thank you, DeSantis. So what ended up happening, the property values there doubled
Wow.
in no time, in a matter of a year and a half, 2 years. So I said, look, I don't know, 57 then, and I said, look, if I don't pull the trigger now, I ain't gonna do this adventure. So I put my house on the market, got a really nice chunk of change out of it, and yeah, sold the house, sold my truck, sold my furniture. I came here with a little wheelie dealy luggage thing,
Yeah.
and one of those chest straps with
Yeah,
my
yeah.
paperwork and passport and all that. That's how I came over
Wow.
here, and I'm really glad I did. The people are unbeatable here.
Yeah, it's so friendly.
The Filipinos, I never experienced anything like that in my life. When I was staying here, every day, all the girls that work here, sir, 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 so polite. So you met Jenny over here, and she was my buddy, and I said, look, stop calling me sir. My name is Norman. No. Okay, Sir Norman.
Yeah. I got that too, Sir Mark. They call me Sir Mark, yeah.
Yeah, we've been knighted.
Yeah.
Like Sir Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
And no, just enjoyed the heck out of it when I was here, and I still am. And
You bought a truck too, didn't you? A nice little truck?
yeah, it's a little grocery getter, couple $1,000. It's a diesel.
Well, those last forever.
I think since I've been here, I've put $15 US in it.
Wow.
As far as fuel,
Yeah.
the gauge don't move. It gets over 40 miles to the gallon.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a little 4-cylinder diesel.
Yeah.
A Mazda truck. And, even in Sebastian or in Chazawitzka, I'm one of those guys, I kind of stay in my 5 square mile radius. And I just find it entertaining to go to the fruit market over here and the different sorry stores. I discovered a bakery. I discovered a couple of good, they're like expat bars, right? And excellent takeout food.
Have you been up to Valencia yet?
I have not.
Well, you got to do it's just one's right up the Valencia Road, right there. It's easy.
Yeah, I just got my truck registered day before yesterday, So I was afraid that I was going to get stopped in one of those
Yeah, checkpoints.
checkpoints with the
Yeah.
people wearing the bombs and grenades and
Yeah.
guns and all. So now I feel more comfortable.
To go there on Sunday, it's booming on Sunday. They have a huge market
Yeah.
up there with all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
It's really nice.
Sunday market.
Yeah, Sunday market in
I
Valencia.
definitely, that's on my agenda. And my first real kind of travel thing I want to do is right there.
Siquijor.
Siquijor Island, the
Yeah.
island of witches.
Yeah.
And no, I've been nothing but content and happy here.
Yes, it's funny. Like some people, when they get here, you know, if it's the right place for you, it just kind of feels it. You can feel it, the energy. You know, like you feel all the stress go away, and just say, "I'm content here. I don't feel out of place or anything. It's like this is it for me."
No, I definitely feel that way.
You kind of feel the same way here as you did when you first went to the Keys.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Like an adventure
yeah.
dash beautiful scenery.
There's so much more to see in the Philippines than the Keys too. It's all
Yeah.
that straight line. You
That's
know?
all it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
100-mile long road. No, I do feel similar to when I moved to the Florida Keys. Yeah, I'm happy here, and I was just tired of getting ripped off.
Ripped off how in America?
Every which way you turn. Our big grocery store in Florida is Publix. I live like a mile from there. You go there, one avocado is $4
Wow.
US. And I mean, if you spent a $100 bill in Publix, you're basically walking out with 2 plastic bags. Insurance for your truck. You know, paying $120 a month, and that wasn't even full coverage. And when I just got my truck registered, you have to buy the state required insurance. So with the registration and the insurance was $150 US.
Here, yeah.
For
yeah,
the year.
Yeah, that's here, yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible, yeah.
Incredible. People are getting killed over there with homeowners insurance.
Yeah, I heard it's just going crazy over there.
It's insane. It's insane.
Also condo fees, like people have condos. Like I saw a thing on the news the other day, like this couple, they've owned this place since like the 80s, and all of a sudden they got a bill, and they only paid like 200 grand for it back in the 80s. They've been there, you know, all these years, and they got a bill for like $290,000 for like, you know, whatever they're gonna do to the building, because I guess that one that collapsed, remember?
That's exactly
Yeah,
That's exactly why this is happening, because I would say 80% of all the condos in Miami, North Miami Beach, even South Beach, they're well over 40 years. So they came up with this rule that they have to have a complete inspection if it's older than 40 years.
Yeah.
And they have to rebuild and chisel this and fix the rebar. No, people are getting totally scammed with insurance.
and you can't even sell them because nobody wants to buy it if you know you're gonna,
No,
yeah, they're
the
worthless.
condo market really is crashing over there. Nobody wants to touch them. New sales probably still decent. You know, it's an international place.
Yeah.
People coming from all over the world, but I'm glad I don't own that condo anymore
Yeah,
because it was built in '72.
wow.
Yeah.
Well, so what do you miss out of Florida? You miss anything like America or Florida? Are you just like glad you're here and don't even think about it, or?
I miss my mom.
Yeah,
And I miss my sister and her kids. But as far as missing things over there, no, I don't, man. This is gonna be, you know, I've dropped anchor here.
good. Do
Yeah.
you think you'll be going back on a regular basis, like once a year, go back and visit family, or you have plans for that, or?
Whew, I've kicked that around. I might go back in about a year. Because I'm still getting pretty much settled in here.
Yeah,
And yeah, probably at about a year, I'll head back. Maybe airfares will will be down.
Yeah, crazy now.
Yeah.
Now, do you think, of course, you haven't been here that long, do you think this is where you'll settle, or do you think you might check out other parts of the Philippines, or?
I am going to check out other parts. I mean, from what I've seen, I could easily live in Siquijor.
And it's really laid back over there.
Yeah, yeah. But the problem is, you know, I'm 58 now. Most of my friends are gone.
Yeah.
They died in their 30s, 40s, 50s. And you never know what happens. You know, if you have a heart attack in Siquijor and they got to put you on a ferry and then an ambulance, there's a good shot you're not going to make it to the hospital here. But for now, this Bekong area, I really, really, really like it.
Yeah, I do too. I'm really happy here.
Absolutely.
If I can be at the mall, like from my house, you know, 15 minutes, I can be on the same road, not the, you know, it's the
Yeah.
same road right to the mall.
Yeah,
I can be downtown Dumaguete in like 20 minutes, even with traffic, I can be there in 20 minutes.
yeah.
And so it's very convenient, you know.
The driving here is, I'm getting used to
But
it.
you're smart that you bought a truck instead of buying a motorcycle, you know, I mean, especially a small truck, which is easy to navigate and, you know, sightlines and all that stuff, so.
Yeah, yeah.
I think you made a wise decision there.
When I was staying here at Coquisa, I had ordered this motorbike. They gave me like a Yamaha 160, which is a bigger scooter.
Yeah.
And it's been 30 years since I've been on one. And I never took it out on the highway. I went to the Sari store around the corner. And then there was a car coming at me because I'm not used to the throttle on the hand and the brakes.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I almost crashed into the Sari store. So I parked it in here and I called the company. I said, here, come pick this thing up. And I had already paid for 2 weeks. And then the manager of the place that I'm living in now, she came over. And as you know, I'm like not on Facebook, or I'm an outcast with that. But she got on Facebook Marketplace and helped me find this little truck. Yeah.
That's great. Well, it sure seems like everything's working out for you, you know, for the best, and, you know, you seem like one of those guys that's going to hit the ground running and have a, you know, wonderful retirement here, you know, so it's really great. It's so nice to meet you, and I really appreciate you, you know, sharing, watching my videos, first of all, and also sharing your story with everybody. So, everybody, thanks for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and we'll see you next time. Bye.